another person who's been a hero to me, and that is Rabbi Zalman Schachter, who some of you may know, Rabbi Zalman. I was with him one time in a restaurant, and he leaned over to me. He wrote a book called From Aging to Saging. And he leaned over to me and he said, you know, Rick, this aging business is really very simple. He said, the question really is, are you saved? And I thought to myself, well, he's a clergyman, you know, what's this all about? He says, no, I don't mean it in a religious sense. I mean it in a computer sense. Are you saved? Have you downloaded your life experience to the next generation? Have you started doing your legacy work? So that stayed with me. In the end, we're all contemporaries. Have you started doing your legacy work? So I thought about the words of Gregory Cayete, a Native American of the Tuwa tribe of the Southwest. And here's what he said about elders. And I love that word, Eric, and we have to reclaim it. He said, the elders remind us of the importance of a long view when they say, Pinpeya obey, look to the mountain. They use this phrase to remind us that we need to look at things as if we are looking out from the top of a mountain, seeing things in the much broader perspective of the generations that are yet to come, and some are already here. They remind us that in dealing with the landscape, we must think in terms of a 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 year relationship. Let me tell you, we don't think that way in the Beltway in Washington, where I live. But there are people who do. Stuart Brand, creator of the Whole Earth Catalog, something from my youth, and Esther Dyson have something called the Long Now Foundation, which they're building a clock that's supposed to tick every 10,000 years. It's being built in the Great Basin National Park. They're looking for facilities out there. It's a very different way of thinking. It's a very different way of thinking about the environment. There's a Muslim proverb, act in the world as if you were to live 1,000 years. Pray as if you were to die tomorrow. There's no better expression of that sentiment than the words of David Brower, and I'm going to quote that, and I very much appreciate, you know, when we talked about Brower before. Lifelong environmentalist. This is what he wrote at the age of 79. He said, at my age, they can't do much to hurt me. I have a new freedom. They can't change my career. I've got it made. If I go to jail or am executed, it doesn't matter, though I'd rather stick around. I'd rather be out of jail than in, but not at the expense of this newfound freedom. Young people don't have this liberty. They've got years ahead of them, families, need for income. They can't alienate themselves too much from the system. I say to people my age, you have this freedom. Please use it. You've had a role in whatever's happened in the earth, and it hasn't been good. You now have a role in doing something about it. If you're going to die, make sure your boots are on. There's so many of us, more and more of us. You've got to sound off. The older you are, the freer you are, as long as you last.